It's time to ride it. 3, 2, 1, let's get it. Come on, pull up a chair.
Hello. I saw a sea lion do that on Instagram the other day. It's my favorite thing in the world. Anyway, you might be wondering why I'm here. That's none of your business. Well, it kind of is. Because you have to know that what I'm doing. But you might be wondering why I'm here by myself. And that's... We're writing today. We're writing specifically a short film that I want to see if I can shoot at some point. Now, I don't know if, that'll go on this channel or whatnot, but for those of you that don't know and haven't been watching, or I may not have even said it before, I don't know, because I have a terrible memory, but I'm in the Master of Fine Arts program here at this wonderful, magical place called SCAD, which is Savannah College of Art and Design. SCAD hit us up. I don't know for what, but, just say hi. This is something I might want to take into a class, maybe shoot it for a class. And I say that because in the classroom setting, you have 15 to 20 people, not including the professor, that can give you feedback on your work and whatnot. So to get a start on this now and get this written is going to be helpful down the line, and I can get more feedback if I already have a draft of it written. So, the log line is: a college student struggles to submit his essay before midnight due to poor technology and Wi-Fi and whatnot. That is a terrible log line, by the way. This is more just, I had this idea and I wrote it down in my ideas list. So, what we're going to do is we're going to take this idea and we're going to write out hopefully longer than 5 pages, because short films are typically a little bit longer. And even if this was a good logline, this would not go here. It doesn't really go in the script at all. I just have it here for recording purposes so that we know what we're doing. Because typically we start with, but it's not as an action line. It's a transition. There we go. So, we have faded in. We are seeing something on the screen. Jazz hands. That was terrible. Wait. Dave's into no music. Well, you know what? We got the background music playing, even though I can't hear it. You guys can. Okay. So, well, what do we know about our story? We have a college student. He has an assignment to submit, specifically an essay. It is maybe 11:30. It's due at midnight, and everything is going wrong that could possibly go wrong for this to happen. So, what do we need to do first? We need to establish our location. Interior. Let's just say bedroom. I don't want to say dorm room, because that's going to limit kind of some of the things I can and cannot do. So let's say bedroom. Now we need our time of day. Not time. Okay. Lord. So we've got that now. So it's dark outside. So this is already a night shoot, which does kind of make it a more than usual difficult thing. It's hot. It's harder to do night shoots. I've done night shoots. Night shoots are very taxing if you have not prepped for it. Now, if you have kind of gotten it to where you know you're doing more than one night of shooting, you can prep for it a little better by sleeping during the day. But the transition's still awful. Nurses do this a lot, but filmmakers can too. But typically it's like, if it's just one night shoot, then there's no point in doing any prep because you're pretty much going to have to switch right back into day schedules. So, I've done the single night shoots before, where I was DIT or I was, what was that other time? No, that's not right. I was DIT for at least one. I know I've been on more than one night shoot though, but we were scheduled. I wasn't told this. We were scheduled to start at I think 10 p.m. and it was supposed to be like said and done. Shut up. Said and done at, I want to say 1 a.m., which isn't terrible. That's not bad. Staying up until 1 a.m., I mean, some people have a hard time with that, but I'm a night owl already, so that's fine for me. That would be when I go to bed. So to drive home after that and then go to bed wasn't a big deal. What it turned into in actuality was we ended up going until 6 a.m. Of course, I'm DIT, so I'm kind of just in a corner until somebody yells at me to come take footage off the camera. Right, so DIT. No, y'all may not know what that is. So DIT is the guy that takes the footage off the camera, and in most cases he'll color correct. They didn't want me to do that. I am colorblind, so that's probably why. But they also, I think, they didn't need somebody to color correct that night. But yeah, it's not like a permanent color correction. It's just show us what this looks like with some color, which yeah, and then later it'll be reverted back to just the raw footage, unedited, and then the editor will go through and do their own kind of color thing. So, that being said, let's write some more. I'm going to be going on these tangents a little bit because learning is fun. Yeah, so let's see. So the goal here is we need to sell that this dude does not have good technology. It is slow, and it has to be believable to where it's like his essay takes almost 30 minutes to fully submit. And that's if we're going with 11:30. So, a college student is typing on a laptop. He's sitting at a desk in the darkness. I'm gonna say he doesn't have his light on in his room, and that'll create more of a it's late at night feeling, Because if he has the light on, I mean, it's almost like it's during the day. Even if you can see a window and see that it's night, it just creates a different tone if it's dark. He finishes typing his final line. All right. What is his name? Naming people is so difficult for me. I don't even know why it is. So I'm just gonna throw out. You know what though? Okay. You know what? Actually, no, I can name him. So, my brain just had a thought of, well, I don't want to name him if I want to, make the casting process easier. But at that point, you just change the name. If you write it and it's like, okay, his name, well, let's just say Brad for now. So the character's name is Brad, which is typically associated with a guy name. But if you cast a female actress, you just change the name later, and that's not a big deal. This is one of those stories where I don't think gender is going to matter. I don't think race is going to matter. This lead could be anybody, and it could be believed. So, and I already put he twice, so force of habit, I guess. Something else interesting that I do is I tend to, if I have a male protagonist, I tend to make all of my other characters female, and if I have a female protagonist, I make all the other characters guys. And I've never figured out the why behind that. Now, I've only made, let's see, I've only made a handful of scripts. In some of my older scripts, that wasn't the case. I made a short film that, well, I was freshman in college, and it was technically a remake too. But it had all male characters. But ever since that film, I've always been like, I want to create a variety of characters. And so I guess I typically, if the lead is a guy, I guess I just naturally make everybody else the opposite. And same if lead is a girl. So maybe that's why I do it. I don't know. But for our case, that doesn't necessarily matter. There's only going to be one character, which, as of now, is Brad. Finally. I did it. So, he's finished his essay. Actually, Brayden's gonna chew me out for this. Let's see. Brad. And then in parentheses, I'm gonna say early 20s. There. You have to introduce your character and give brief description. I'm going to stick very simple because it doesn't really matter what he's wearing or anything like that. That will be a decision for, like I said, I might actually make this. So that would be a decision for me to make when I start the pre-production process. I can add those details in later. If it really mattered to the story, I probably would add it right now. But because I don't really care at the moment, I'm just not going to worry about it. Brad moves his mouse and clicks a few times he makes it to an assignment submission page. I'm not good at spelling. Pudding ding. Okay. Quit popping up. Makes an assignment submission page. He drags his essay over, and a progress bar forms. I don't know, for you college students out here, you already know this, but that's not typically how assignment submission pages work. But in this case, I'm making a creative choice. Progress bar forms. Although, actually, I've seen it, I actually have seen it there, because when it's uploading the file before you hit submit, it can create a thing. So maybe that's actually not that far off. I haven't seen it in a while, though, probably because I don't know, I've not had this internet problem in a long time. Or this bad of an internet problem in a long time. Yeah. Okay. Progress bar forms. Brad sits and watches for a beat. He lets out a sigh. A sigh and looks at the clock. Alright. What's a good time here? 11:30 might be too much. Let's say... What can we have be believable? Because we're going to do small time skips. Maybe 11:45, 11:50. I'm going to say 11:45. 11:45 p.m. The clock reads 11:45 p.m. Brad says, come on. The progress, what, nope, progress bar doesn't budge. Doesn't budge. Brad watches for another beat. He smacks, cause smack this is a smack, and that's a bit too aggressive. I want him to just very lightly. He, you know what, lightly smacks. He can lightly smacks the laptop. Did I say yes? Laptop. He lightly smacks the laptop, becoming annoyed. Please. Okay. Now. So what I haven't said is the twist for this film, which I'm going to reveal later. But I have an idea for it. Kind of based on other stories I've seen in real life, where people have not had this problem, but have done the twist I'm going to create towards the end here. Okay, so we have technology kind of failing. I think I'm going to create two things where one is it's kind of just the laptop. but I want to create a moment where like he goes to his router and restarts his Wi-Fi or something. Let's see. Which would mean probably more than just the bedroom would be used. So he would go out to like the living room or common space. I don't know. I'm going to kind of keep this as it's either a small apartment or a dorm room, but not be as specific as to where I can kind of decide later based on how pre-production goes. Location scouting is one of the hardest things in the world. Particularly if you don't know your area very well. I know where I'm at to an extent. Yeah, so it's I don't know, it's hit or miss for certain things. So I think we need to go into maybe he. That's a good point. So what about the laptop is malfunctioning that he can? Okay, maybe he restarts the upload. Yeah, Brad cancels the oh my god, cancels the upload and restarts it. The progress bar makes some progress. So okay, so we got that. This is gonna be shorter than I thought. That's okay. There's really no rule on how long a short film is. The shorter the better in a lot of cases. A lot of people like to go 15, 20 minutes. I'm actually in a class right now that has taught me that short films are better if they're 10 minutes or less. Not that there are, like, some of those 20 to 30 minute short films are really good. But in terms of, like, getting them into festivals, festivals don't like to run super long short films. They like to kind of cram in as many short films as possible. So if you're a filmmaker, and you're, working on your 20 to 30 minute short film, you're going to have a hard time getting stuff into festivals. I'm just learning that, like, you can't try to make a feature in a short film. You need to start the story immediately while having your world building kind of develop at the same time. I've made the mistake too of I want to world build and then start my story, and you have to kind of do it at the same time. Here I had the story start pretty much 20 seconds in at the most. He's typing, and a lot of this is short because the actions. So this is probably longer than usually it's a minute per page, but I think it'll be a little bit longer than that with all the actions he's doing. So actually, it's probably more like a minute in because the story doesn't start necessarily until he attempts to submit it. So, but anyway, progress bar makes some progress. So, let's create a pop-up. Gosh, I don't do I jump to the Wi-Fi that soon though? No, let's do an error window. a window pops up. Whoops. Title card. Error. Let's say file too big. File too big. Shoot. All right. Okay. Shoot. Brad goes back to the document and saves it as a different file type, because that's going to change anything. You know what? Not file too big. I'm going to say incorrect file type, actually, because that's going to make more sense. Incorrect file type. Or not incorrect file type. What would be incompatible? Right? Uncompatible? Incompatible. That's not spelled right at all. Let's see. Incompatible file type. I'll have to talk to my resident tech person about that. Okay. Goes back and saves it as a different file type. He navigates back to the submission page and tries again. Actually, the clock reads 11, let's say 48 p.m. Let's see. Nice. So wait, he navigates back to the submission page, tries again. Ooh, he accidentally. Good God. He accidentally submits the original file and file. The same error window pops up. Brad drags over the correct file this time. Okay, so kind of stretch that a little bit. This isn't laugh out loud funny, and it won't be until my twist. So, which, I don't know. This is where I'm going to need feedback, because a lot of my comedy is laugh out loud funny. I've never written anything comedic in terms of this. This is kind of almost just relatable student stuff at this point. But it's kind of building to a laugh out loud funny twist. It's building to one joke, essentially. The progress bar another pop-up window. Title card. Error. Check internet connection. My God, I still get that every once in a while. Not for a submission thing, but just for just other things in general. And it's just like, oh my God. Oh yeah, sure, I'll save, thanks. Okay. So, we're gonna jump pretty much to new location. Interior. Let's say, I'm gonna say common space. Common space. Night. Brad is staring at the Wi-Fi router. Let's see. What situation can I create here that can cause a problem? Maybe he's not tech savvy. Maybe he ends up unplugging the wrong thing. He unplugs what he believes is the power. But then the router says no connection. I'm thinking about, so my router it's a T-Mobile, it's one of the T-Mobile routers, which if you don't know, is a white box that sits on it's on a stand. It's a white kind of box thing. It has a screen on it and like 4 buttons, and then you have the option to connect it to an antenna, like on the roof, which mine is. And it's got these 4 cables that come out that go out into the antenna outside. So I imagine if I were to unplug one of those cables, it would do something to this effect, but it might also just auto-connect, or not auto-connect, just kind of revert back to non-antenna use, which I don't know enough about how all that works. But I'm sure there's a way to kind of like... this might be a thing where it's like you edit it later instead of... I don't know, in a student short film, you don't want to rely on like CGI or anything, so, or like replacing what something says on a screen. It can just be kind of a real hassle. The simpler the better for something like this. That way you're not having to bring either more people on set, which is more mouths to feed, or you screw it up and then, good lord, you have to reshoot something, which is very stressful. I've reshot an entire short film, and that was just a terrible experience. The set itself was good, but to have to reshoot something that I had already shot in its entirety was just a really, really shitty feeling. It says no connection. No. He plugs the cable back in and tries another. The power cuts off. It's off. I'm gonna have him 1, 2, 3. plugs it back in, and the router boots up. He leaves for his bedroom. No. Interior. Bedroom. It's not day. Okay. We're almost at the twist. This is the shortest short film I've ever written, but I think it'll translate into something a little bit longer. Okay. And there's always room for edits and whatnot. But we're almost there. So, Brad resubmits. Alright, we're gonna do the twist now for the final time. He drags the wrong file over and the progress bar loads instantly. He solved his problem. He's accomplished his task. I've misspelled progress. Happens to the best of us. Instantly. On the screen, it reads file name. Okay, so, long time ago, I read a true story about a dude who was in a sort of similar kind of situation in terms of he was finishing up an assignment last minute and he went to submit it, and he didn't have the technology problems, but he went to submit it and realized he had submitted the wrong file. So he had a secondary job. He had a part-time job where he wrote essentially furry porn to clients, and they would describe kind of what they wanted, and he would just be like, okay, and he would do it, and you get paid for it. Crazy, but you know, people like different things, and that's okay. But so what he had done is instead of submitting his assignment, he had accidentally drug that and submitted one of his clients' scripts, essentially. And the professor looked at it, and it was a hilarious thing, and the professor was very understanding, luckily. But he had gone in to meet with the professor and been like, it was midnight, I'm so sorry. I actually did do the essay or the assignment or whatever. And the professor was like, it's fine, just resubmit it. Luckily, the professor stopped before it got too crazy. Because that professor, I guess, realized that, oh, this is not what they meant to submit. So I'm going to kind of do a similar idea, although I'm not sure how I'm going to have it end. So what I might end up doing is let's say, I don't know, what's the adventures of Sexy Duck, Duck, and the Big Stick. Brad doesn't notice. He looks at the clock. That reads 11:59 p.m. Thank God. Alright, so now Brad gets into his bed. Brad gets into his bed and goes to sleep. Perfect. So we could end it here and have that be the twist, but I think there's a better payoff if we go here and we go morning. Brad awakens and goes to his desk and opens his laptop. He has an email from his professor. Let's see. This is a bit long to keep in. Would that be... this is something Braydan would know. I think I can make this dialogue. Kind of. I think I'm gonna do that. Email from professor. Hello, Bradley. I hope this message finds you well. I'm trying to make it sound formal. I am writing to inform you that... Okay, so there's two ways to go about this. Because I've just realized... No, there's three ways. I can either have it end like the real life story, which I think is a little boring. I could have the professor be mad. Or the professor can be into it. Which I think I'm going to do that. That your assignment doesn't seem to follow the rubric very well. Very well. Very well. Very well, and seems to be inappropriate material for this course. Oh gosh, how do I word this? I think either way, Brad is gonna be like, shit. This is tough. This is tough. I think, for this course, I would like to meet with you before or after class to go over some of this, let's see, some of the creative processes used in writing this assignment, and then we're gonna put a winky face. Oh, that's a 0. There we go. Winky face. Dude, I'm busy. All right. It's assignment. All right. So that's the email. I think I'll probably change that later, but for now I think that's good for a first draft. Brad's eyes become grammar. Brad's eyes become wider and wider as he reads the email. I can't even imagine if I had done this. Luckily, I don't have to worry about this problem because I don't, well, except for that one sketch that is in season 1, but that's not furry anything. As he reads the email. Brad. Shit. And then I think we'll cut off there. I tend to keep swearing out of my screenplays that I know I'm going to shoot. I have family that likes to watch my short films, and a lot of them aren't big on swearing, so I kind of just try to avoid it. So I think, whoops, I meant to do, alright, fine, it's not doing what I wanted to do. I think we fade out there, and then we go, let's see, where is it? The end. There we go. It's a 2-pager. It's not super long, but I think it can work. Actually, yeah. Let's go ahead and take out our log line. There we go. So, okay. Yeah, so it is 2 pages, which normally would mean 2 minutes, but I think there's a lot of action that would translate to make it more like 4 minutes. I think this is a 4-minute short film. Ish. And I could be wrong, but I like to think it's about 4 minutes. And there's probably some work to be done on it, but I have a starting point that can turn into, I don't know, another 10 drafts of a screenplay until it's kind of fine-tuned to be exactly what I want it to be. But then there's also a chance that, you know, I show this off to people and they don't like it, which is very possible. I think this is a decent start to something, but I don't think it's quite finished, despite reaching the end of the story. I think that there's more I need to do to this that I can't quite come up with off the top of my head. But, as with all screenplays, we need to do our title page. So far, it's last-minute essay. And now, we do my name, Cole James. That's me, if you didn't know. Based on... this is based on internet stories I've seen. Internet stories. I'm going to say true internet stories. And then I don't ever do that part. we have our title page. And I think that's good. And now we save. And that's kind of it. It's short for a short film, but you know, I've seen 30-second short films before, and you know, the whole thing with a short film is, as long as it can kind of get people talking about it, just be like, oh, I can relate to that. That's happened to me before, or something to this effect. Which I think this is a very relatable thing. We've all had deadlines that we've had to make, and we end up, maybe we didn't start at last minute, but we definitely finished it last minute, and we've been there pulling all-nighters for whatever assignment, whether that's a school thing, maybe it's a work thing, you know, whatever. So I think that's gonna do it for this episode. Yeah, it's a bit shorter than some of our other ones. I think Braydan will be back next week. We're working on something that we've never really done before. We're still kind of trying to work out the kinks in it. And maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. I don't know. We're going to find out. But I hope you all enjoyed this riveting episode of Writing with Cole. If you want to see more stuff like this, you know, leave a comment, leave like, leave dislike. You leave dislike, give some feedback on what you didn't like about it, so we can kind of change stuff up. If you have ideas for short film sketches, ideas for the feature film, which we will be resuming here after we've kind of done our break from it. We're wanting, at the moment, to focus on some shorter material, like short films and sketches, but we're open to taking those ideas to the feature once we resume that. We have an Instagram, we have a TikTok, all those links are in the description usually, so check those out. We got short clips on there. We got some YouTube shorts as well, that I'm gonna probably resume sticking clips up there too. If you find yourself going to that search bar on YouTube and searching us up to catch the next episode, go ahead and subscribe. Takes us to your homepage, so you can kind of see when we have uploaded, and it'll notify you stuff if you got notifications on and whatnot. Something about that bell and whatnot. But yeah, I think that's gonna do it for this one. So we'll be back for the next one, and I'll see you there. I hope. Don't abandon us. Wait, come back, come back, come back, come back. Bye!